a 4 sigma event, they're supposed to happen only every 126 years. And it just happened right now. We are just seeing it right now. And we are going to talk about that today. There's a massive flash on the market. I know a lot of people are scared. I know maybe some of you are trying to time the bottom. That's not my crew here. As I've always told you, that's not my thing here. I'm here to try to teach you and try to understand and try to explain what's happening so that you can make your own decisions. And today I'm going to explain you this. Today I'm going to explain you what is the 4 sigma event that was supposed to happen only every 126 years, and it just did it yesterday, and did it in 6 weeks. And you need to understand that, okay? And I know everyone now is going to call the crypto winter. I'm not going to, how can I say, criticize that. Everyone has their opinion, although I don't respect that. I think that those that have been here for a long time have seen this before. And yeah, but like I said, if we close this week below 74K, then I'll reassess my position on the market. But so far, we are going deeper than I was expecting, okay? I have to tell you that. But I need to understand what's happening right now. And I think there's a lot of things that you need to be aware and that we need to understand, and that will be important for us. So before you continue, let me know from where you are watching. You know, I like to know from where you are watching. Leave your questions on the chat. Let me know if you are bearish, if you are bullish, if you think you are going lower. Some people are already calling for 30K. And smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. And also, let me know if there's any breaks on the stream. I want to make sure that everything is going smooth, okay? So just before going to explain you what is the, how can I say this? What is the 4 sigma event? I want you to show, we need to look at the chart, okay? And looking at the chart, let me just come here. We can use this one. And let me show you this, okay? So Bitcoin broke every support, okay? I took this trade right now. This is a risky one, but I'm taking this trade and I can explain you why. Just to come here, ignore this. This is when Bitcoin was at those levels. So why I'm taking this trade here? It's because we are for the first time, testing the previous all-time high from the market, the all-time high from 2024. Okay, here we almost tested it in April 2025, but it wasn't a real test. Now it's a real test. Okay, now we are really testing the 2024 all-time high, and this is why I did this. Okay, I know it's a risky one. I know there's always a chance of getting stopped, but I took this trade. And yeah, I think we might bottom here for a trade, not for the market, okay? I think there was a lot of downside. The Asian session, we are still in the UK session, and I took this trade. I'm okay taking a stop loss. This is trading, okay? You are going to take profits and you are going to take some stop losses. So this is just for you to understand. I understand that nobody likes stop losses, but that's why we use them, right? So this is a large one because I want to take the trade if I'm right. And also let me share you my experience, okay? Usually when we have these massive moves on the market, and I'm going to talk about the 4 sigma events because I want you to make your decision if we are not going to bottom or starting to bottom. But usually when we have these massive moves so fast, like I told you yesterday, so fast, they are not organic, okay? They are not, how can I say this? Something that's, it's like the Saturday move. They are awkward, okay? Unless something is broken, and that's why we have a stop loss in case something is broken. I do think we are going to see some relief, okay? I don't know if it will be the bottom of the market, okay? That's not my thing, and I'm going to assess every day, okay? That's what I'm going to do, and that's what I'm going to share with you. But this is also the reason why I told you in August, for those that follow me for a long time, have a plan in case things go sideways. Have a plan in case we have a short bear market, okay? For the long term, I'm still a bull. I still believe that the industry is going to thrive, but there's a lot of things happening right now that are conditioning the market. The Epstein files spoke yesterday. There's also, and I think this is quite important, I'm going to share this with you. And Bear in mind if my internet is a bit slow, because I'll explain later, but it might happen, so it might take some time to load. So this it is. And I agree with this, okay? In case you are not aware, that supposedly and allegedly, there was someone from the UAE that invested on WLFI 49%, okay? 49% on WLFI right before Trump, how do you say it in English? How can I say this? I'm missing the word, but like 3 days before Trump became officially the president, okay, after winning the elections. So there you go. They are now investigating this, and I think they should, okay? And let me tell you this. Although I agree that everything is setting up for what we want regarding legislation, we need to understand that what was done, I don't care if it's the president of the United States or not, shouldn't have happened, okay? Shouldn't have happened. So, yeah, I think that's something that you need to be aware. It happened. It's going to be investigated, and I think it should be investigated. So this is one of the things that I think that might have shaken a bit the market, not that much. I think there was something happening, and this is why I want to talk about the 4 sigmas, and that's what I'm going to talk today, and later I'm going to the comments. So I want to show you this because I think it's important you understand what happened yesterday, and I wanted to teach you those things, okay, because this is something that I always pay attention. So we are going to talk about the 4 sigma event that we saw yesterday, okay? We saw this yesterday, and as always, after the live stream, I will share this on my X, so follow me on X so you can have access to this. So you need to understand what is the 4 sigma event, because it's not something random. It's something that it really impacts the market. But you might not see it now, but in the end you will. It signals sellers' exhaustion. That's the signal it will tell us, but we'll go back to that. So let's see how this works, and I try to do this the easiest way so that you can understand it. It's not boring, okay? Normal day, Bitcoin is going up and down $2,000. That's a regular day. Solana 3% up and down. That's nothing special, right? That's just a day in the market. A weird day, that's the 3 sigma. It's when you wake up and you see that Bitcoin dropped 6K. That's not normal. That's not normal. That's something that you should pay attention. And Solana 15%. And then you have the guys on the chat asking, how's that Solana dip going, right? So this is the 3 sigma. And then you had the 4 sigma event. And this is what happened yesterday, okay? BTC minus 8K. But here's the thing that changed. Usually, we have been seeing crypto going down, stocks going up. And that's those stocks that always go up. NVIDIA, Tesla, whatever. Even Solana, not a stock, but a crypto. They all dropped 8%. And the stocks that were dead for months, they went up 12%. Okay? Regional banks, small caps. You can have the example like with HYPE yesterday. Although HYPE had the news, we can give that as an example. HYPE was dropping. I don't know, I think for the last 2 months, it was dropping. Bitcoin was, let's say, going up more or less. But then there's a sudden drop on Bitcoin, and you have HYPE going up. Okay, I know there was the news with Ripple, but this is a 4 sigma event. Okay, this is when something awkward happens. And I wrote this here. It's not just the market drop. It's when the market behaves the opposite of what's been doing for months. Violently and unexpectedly. Okay? And you have this on crypto also. Okay? And we can see this. And Bitcoin, we just saw this one. And I don't know. I think that right now everything is on the red today. Actually, it isn't. Ethereum BTC is starting to go up. It's not going down. And we can see this as a 4 sigma event. But you have gold going down. You have NVIDIA going down. You have copper going up. Okay? So this is a 4 sigma event. This is what we saw yesterday. And we can call this as a weirdness meter for the market. It's when something that's not normal happens. Okay, this is what we have. We have the first sigma, normal day. Second, a move that catches our attention. The third one, gold 5%, NVIDIA -10. We saw that in the past. And the fourth sigma event yesterday, when we saw the momentum collapse. It broke. Okay, then we have the other ones, COVID crash, and the ones that we don't want to see it. Okay, and I'm going to share this with you later, but you have all the examples here. Okay, you can track this, you can see it, and this is the momentum crash. When you see the winners going down and the losers start to going up. Okay, for example, let's say Solana going down and Link going up. Okay, for example, that's something that might happen. So this is what we call a 4 sigma event. And we need to understand, and we will see when did this happen. So I'm going to start our journey. And 1932, we had the 4 sigma event. And if you are an investor, you know about this for sure. And this marked the bottom. Okay, we had a 5+ sigma event. Okay, panic, banks falling, whatever. And there was no Bitcoin, of course, at the time. And yeah, but this marked the bottom. Okay, in 1942. Again, just to be clear, I'm going to talk about 4 sigma events and bottoms, but that doesn't mean it's today. The bottom of the market is a process, and I'm not on the crew of calling a bottom or not. Okay, I'm not on that crew. I'm just telling you that this usually happens near bottoms. Okay, we might drop to 30K this afternoon. I'm just telling you, look, this usually happens when the market starts to bottom. We have a change in behavior. Okay, just for you to be aware, I'm not telling that that long that I took, it's the 16, it's the bottom. I might get stopped. I don't care about that. I'm just telling you that this usually happens near bottoms, and I'm going to show you when this was a bottom confirmation. But remember, a bottom is a process. It's not a day, a moment. Okay, just for this to be clear. And like I was saying, in 1942, we do have a bottom confirmed. In 1987, same thing, Black Monday, 22% drop. This was a 6+ sigma. It was the single worst day in stock market history, okay? And how long did it take for the market to recover? We're going to see it. It was in weeks, okay? It just took a few weeks, and the drawdown was around 33%. But you have more. 2000, and I'm going like this because I know that the internet now is working well, and I want to keep it like this, okay? So we had the dot-com bubble. Everyone remembers the dot-com bubble, right? Everyone remembers that. And this was a 4 sigma event. It was an early signal, okay? An early signal, but it was not 100% the bottom, okay? It was not 100% the bottom, okay? You need to understand this, and we saw exactly the same thing. Tech down and banks 8% up, and this was the regime change. But this lasted 2.5 years. Okay, so I'm giving you all the data so that you can take your own decisions. And so it was an early signal, not the bottom. 2007, hedge funds panic. It was a false signal. Okay, now you guys are telling me, so we have a 2 bottoms in the other century, and now you are telling me that now we don't have 2 bottoms. Yeah, it doesn't make sense, right? What I'm doing. So let's go for the next one. 2009, we have a confirmation. Okay, 2009, we have a confirmation for the bottom. Okay, and this is the SP bottom at the infamous level, 666. So it was maybe Bitcoin is going to also bottom at 6666, 46, not 3, 46. If it was 3, the industry will be cooked. And yeah, this was a bottom confirmation. Okay, we had the confirmation that this marked the bottom. Again, it took 3 months. Okay, 3 months. But usually, what you have an impulsive move. You have you can call it an acceleration, and then you range, and then you go up. Okay, this is how usually it works. So this was 2009. So 2017, we had the value versus momentum. epic factor rotation, largest momentum crash since 2009. Was this the bottom? Kind of, okay? Kind of. So far we are, I will say we are 3 to 3, okay? Nah, I'm joking. It was a 4. It was the bottom. So 4 times. 4 times we had the bottom after the sigma event, okay? And this was a 5.7 sigma. So this was a big one. And you should remember this one. It was a factor rotation, a momentum, whatever you want to call it. It was a big one, okay? This was a big one, okay? Value stocks, energy, everything went up 5% and the other ones dropped really hard. And this is what you need to look. It's for behavior change. That's when you have the sigmas. Let's go for the next one. 2020. Who doesn't remember 2020, right? For most of us, it's when we change our life with crypto. And we have the confirmation of the bottom when we had this. It was the COVID crash. This was a 6 sigma plus. And I told you that as an example. Back at the beginning. This was a confirmation for the bottom. Okay? So let's see more here. Okay? You remember 2020, right? The pandemic, world shut down, everyone stayed at home, everything dropped together like we are seeing now. Crypto, stocks, metals, everything went the inverse of banana zone. It was an inverse banana. And then we know what happened, okay? Those who bought the fear made it conservatively 10x. Conservatively 10x, okay? So, what we have next? And let's go here. 2022, it was the last 4 sigma event, okay? It was the last 4 sigma event. The last one. The last of all of them. And this, if you're here in 2022 in crypto, you understand what 2022 meant for the market. So this is when we saw a rotation, a tech to value rotation in mid-bear market, okay? And this happened near the bottom. Near the bottom. Really close, okay? It was near the bottom. It was not the exact bottom, but it happened near the bottom. It was in June 2022. The bottom was around November 2022, so it was pretty close. And then we saw, you know what happened, right? We had the Fed hiking rates, we had tech collapsing, but when the time came in June, we saw everything rotated, okay? And in November 2022, you all remember FTX. It was the it was the bottom of the crypto bear market. It was the bottom of the crypto bear market. So, yeah, as you can see, we are starting to see a pattern here, right? We are starting to see a pattern here. And when you go now, let's see, we are here. Yesterday was the worst day for momentum since 2022. Winners collapsed and losers surged. Based on what you've seen, what I just showed you, what do you think is going to happen next? Are we going lower? Are we starting the bottom process? Let me know. I want to know your opinion. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know if you think we are starting to bottom, or we can still go lower and this is not correlated. Because if you see here, only 2 times we didn't have the bottom or were close to the bottom. Okay, again, a bottom is a process, it's not the day. But this is what I'm telling you. Only for 2 times, only twice. This was not near the bottom or confirmed that the bottom was being formed. So I want to know what you think about this. I'm not going to tell this not going lower today. Let me see. It's lacking momentum here. Okay, I would like to see a stronger reaction on this trade to be more confident that the worst is over. But yeah, I think that we are getting close. Okay, I think we are really getting close to this. We might drop lower, of course, especially with everything. Trump is going to announce something today. And you know when Trump talks, usually it's a volatile day. So yeah, we can come lower. That's why I have the stop loss here. We can come even lower. I don't know, 65K. But now everyone is so bearish. Okay, everyone is so bearish right now that Yeah. Yeah, I think that it might make sense that we have some sort of relief here, okay? Some sort of relief here. That's why I took this trade. I took this one and I took this one here. So these are the only two trades I'm taking right now. And I wanted to trade with you, but like I was saying, my area was hit by a violent storm last week. And right now I'm without cell phone again. And when I'm without cell phone, I cannot log in because I cannot get the SMS. So just for you to be aware, I wanted to go do live trading with you, and I'm going to do live trading with you right now. I'm going to check some charts, but I cannot open my trades because I cannot get the SMS. Okay, there was a massive disaster in Portugal, as you might be aware. You probably have seen it in the news. If you don't, you are knowing now. And I'm still using Starlink to stream because I don't have internet by fiber cable yet. Okay, so and right now I don't have a phone, so that I cannot get the SMS. And this is for you to be aware. Okay, I just wanted to be aware of this also. I'm going to deactivate all the 2FA via SMS on my exchanges. I will use another one, email or the YubiKey, whatever, because what happened to me last week, I could not log in on the exchanges. I had to rely the ones that had the login done, and luckily I wasn't logged out because I wasn't able to log in anywhere, exchanges or other websites. That even a bank, I could not do bank transfers. Although I had Starlink and internet, I could not do it because I could not receive the SMS. So yeah, I want you to trade, and I want you to go to Bluefin here, and you have the link here in the description, and you get a sign up. You have a sign up bonus of $5,000. This is exclusive, and it can get to $5,000 welcome bonus. Go there, register. As soon as I can log in on Bluefin, we are going to start opening trades live. So right now I have to only do the charts, and then I'll do the live trading with all of you, okay? So let me check the comments. So we have people, listen, Lagos, Nigeria, awesome, London, UK. I always like to know where people are watching. Dimitri is saying, I want to take that trade, but I'm afraid of a big week. That's why you have a stop loss. Well, if you are trading and you are afraid of a stop loss, do not trade. That's the best. That's the best thing you should do, okay? That's what you should do. Ever since Friday has been 5x slower to load every day since. I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah. Tracker. You are telling us without telling us. No, I'm not telling you that the bottom is in. I'm showing you that the data show that this usually might sign a bottom, okay? But there's no confirmation. I'm not here to join that crew. I told you that already. Honestly, I think most of the people that call for the bottom, they already call it for 3 times, and we keep going lower. So, hi, Manuel. I was the biggest bull, but I've turned the bear since Friday. That's up to you, okay? That's up to you. I understand that. But when you invest in fundamentals, I think I'm a multi-cycle holder. I told you that since day one. I also said that I had a plan in case things go like it went right now. And so, yeah, unfortunately, that video is not up already. It's not up anymore. But I told you in August for people to get a plan for in case this happens, because something was telling me that this might happen. So yeah, so I want to look at some trades with you guys right now. One that I like to scalp, and I like what it is. And again, if you don't want to get stop losses, the market is risky as fuck right now, and you should be careful, and you should not be trading, okay? I have the risk reward here for me as to justify a trade, but again, we can add Trump is speaking, the pre-market might look horrendous, whatever. Things might happen, but what I'm telling you is, like, if you want to trade or to follow this channel, be aware that stop losses are there in case things go wrong, in case I'm wrong, okay? So yeah, I know that all these people come here asking for the stop losses. Honestly, I don't care about that. But I'm telling you that, yeah, that's something that might happen, okay? So this is a trade that I want to take. And I know I told you several times that I think Convex is awesome to trade. Not talking about the project itself, although I'm a holder, I already told you this. But I will take this trade, okay? And I want to take this trade. Let me just put here on the entry, and I will take this trade. And I want to take this trade because I think it's on the level usually it reacts, okay? And there was so many pain already that I think that we might justify taking this risk. So I'm going to take this trade, and please take advantage of the bluffing bonus to trade. And if you are afraid that it might go lower, easy. Use the bonus. It's just going to burn the bonus and not your money, okay? So yeah, I really wanted to open the trades on bluffing. And let me see more. If you want to suggest something, let me know. Someone's talking about Sol, and Sol is still here. I don't know why. I told you this. Actually, this was a paper trading, but Sol is still here. Yeah, it's dropped from what? $5. It's here. It's not invalidated. It's still here. So yeah, I'm not going to talk about X or trade X. No, Pulse chain is not for me. Okay, I'm not going to trade Pulse chain. So yeah, let's leave. I have values. Okay, I'm not going to trade that. I don't want to trade that. Okay. Yeah, someone is saying it can get worse easily, but I'll be happy to turn bullish. Look, everything can get always worse, okay? You are investing here, you are an investor, and if you are trading, you need to be ready. If you are trading, you need to be ready for everything. That's something that I don't understand, okay? You trade, use stop losses, and sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong, okay? And that's it. And so it's what it is. Honestly, I don't understand why people always say something. I don't know. There's always you understand what I'm saying, okay? That like someone needs to be always right or something. Look, nobody is always right. Never, okay? Never. So regarding, I would like to open a long on Ethereum, actually, because I think Ethereum didn't drop that much for the move that you are seeing on Bitcoin. But the thing is that I'm not sure it's going to hold the support here. It should hold the support here in theory, but I'll be more comfortable taking this trade if it comes higher. Okay, if it confirms that it's trying to reverse. Sorry, I would like it to go higher, at least 2,000, 2,500, and then I'll take this trade. So here I will just add an alert here, and then if we have confirmation, we could do something like this. But this is risky, okay? I don't know if you guys can hear the storm outside, but there's a major storm again. So this is something that I'll do, a small stop loss, I think around here, right below this, and to aim higher, maybe this one, okay? Again, I would only take this trade if I see something like this. Okay, I'm not going to take this trade now. It might be a good time to take the trade, but yeah, it's a dangerous one. Okay, so I prefer to wait for confirmation. If this is why I have the alert. If I see Ethereum doing this, holding this resistance as support, then I take the trade. Okay, do not blindly go long. Do not blindly go long. Okay. Thoughts on ASTER? The thing with ASTER, I'm not writing. Sorry. The things with ASTER is that it's too dependent on CZ. You know, that's the only thing that I don't like about ASTER. CZ pumped ASTER, as we know, he didn't pump because he wanted to pump. Okay, he just talked about ASTER, and then ASTER reacted. But yeah, I'm not a big fan, to be honest with you. Okay, I'm not that a big fan of ASTER, but I won't long here. Let me just check here. If I wanted to long, I would wait. Okay. If I wanted to long ASTER, I would wait for something like this. Maybe something like this. Yeah, I think it's coming here. So I'll do something like this. here. Okay, if it's come, I know it might seem awkward, but it's enough for me to get a better entry. If it comes to this level, and then we need to put the stop loss higher, maybe something like this, or even higher, because if it starts to come low, it's invalid. It's 100% invalidated. So I'll take this, and maybe a move here. Okay. Again, you set an alert here to the entry, and that's it. Okay. You can argue that you could enter now if you want to do it. Okay. But let's see. Okay. I prefer to wait. I prefer to lose the trade, and then take the trade. Okay. Okay. My wife is always right. We are so not done dropping. Yeah, we might be dropping more. 𝗔𝗂𝗁. I like 𝗔𝗂𝗁, okay? But I'm not going to go talk about 𝗔𝗂𝗁 now. Thoughts on platinum. I'm not trading platinum right now, yet. But I think it's going to be a good trade, honestly. It was a good trade already, but I do believe it's going to be a good... With everything that's going on, I think it's going to be a good trade. The thing is that I'm watching right now is I want to know where the metal stands. The metal stays right now, okay? Just for you to know, I'm a big investor in silver. I was buying silver since 2021, 2022, and that was one of my biggest trades. So in case you didn't know, you know now because I'm new on this channel. I've publicly been saying silver since 2022. And you know, silver is taking a huge hit today, okay? Like a big one. And some can argue that this is a bear flag. And yeah, if you go here, it might be. If you want to see this as a bear flag, something like this, you still have to go lower, okay? Around $43, something like this, okay? I've been taking profits all the way up, and I've been saying that especially on the Portuguese Banter channel. If you speak Portuguese, you should follow us on the Portuguese Banter channel. But I want to see where will the metal stay, okay? Today it will be a big day. That's why I told to be careful. Told to be careful. Although I'm trading and I just set up a few trades, I think we should be careful right now, okay? Because the market is not as it should be. There was a big movement yesterday and today. Trump is going to speak, so yeah, just need to be careful, okay? And let's see how this one is going. Still manageable. Still okay. Still close to entry. But again, this might drop, and I get stopped on everything, okay? I'm just taking this because, yeah, that's why you stop losses. And I'm okay with that. And this is what I think is going to happen. I do believe that Bitcoin might go higher, but I'm not saying it's the bottom, okay? I'm saying is that I do believe that Bitcoin might start to bottom around those levels. This is what I think, but I might be wrong, and I'm not going to say that the bottom is in without more confirmations, okay? And I'm never going to tell you the bottom is in. That's what I'm going. That's how honest I can be with you. I will never say the bottom is in. Never, 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 okay? Never. And to be honest, if this trade doesn't play out soon, I'm going to close it. And I'm going to close all the trades and wait for more development on the US session, because right now it's a hard time to trade, okay? Because we are between sessions, but this is when I'm here. So, but we are between sessions, not the best time to be opening trades, to be honest. But yeah, this is just my opinion. And now I'm getting signals that internet is falling again. So, guys, I'm going to wrap up here. Because of the internet connection, I'm now getting the alerts that it's breaking. So, thank you for being here. Smash the like button. I'll be here every day if my internet allows it. Okay, so I hope that this is solved in the next days. If everything is going to plan, I'll be here tomorrow at the same time. And yeah, if I'm not here, no, it's because the internet failed and I wasn't able to stream. See you all again. These trades, if I don't see any momentum, I'm going to close it. Okay, and I will wait for the US session, and then I'll take more trades tomorrow. See you all.